All right, so got a problem. This X Pro, it's a 250, but I think it's really about a 200cc moto-pro X Pro. Bought it off of Amazon for $1,700. It was sitting for a little while, and now I think the carburetor just needs to be replaced. I tried to clean it. It didn't work. It's still bogging down and not holding an idle. So fortunately, you can buy these replacement carburetors. I'll leave a link in the description, again, for anybody who is interested. I am not at all sponsored by these people. I just post these videos for my own enjoyment and stuff that I think that you guys might enjoy or appreciate. So this carburetor replacement is very typical. It's about $20, $25, that kind of range. And I'm hoping that it fits this this style bike. It's kind of a Chinese, Tao, that kind of a bike. This is moto-pro X Pro off of Amazon. So yeah, it's going to be relatively easy. Going to switch out the carburetor and just document it. So here's the ATV. Like I said, it's a 250, I think, adult ATV. That's how they brand it. But I think actually it's a sub 200cc engine. And here's the replacement carb that I bought for it. So that's what it looks like. And this was only, I don't know, you can see it says 200cc on there. I'll leave a link in the description. Not sponsored by these people at all. This is very similar to what's already on there, so I'm hoping it's just a straight take off and bolt on. So the carburetor is, we're looking at the front of the ATV there, and the carburetor is right there. So it's kind of buried in there a little bit. That's the carb. And fortunately, it is not too difficult to get at. Here is the main air intake. The air intake is a box right back in here, and it goes up through this giant pipe right here. And really, it's just kind of like a C-clamp. So you gotta go on the other side and undo the C-clamp onto the carb on that side, and that's the rear of it. And then in the front, I'm gonna get in here in the front so you can see it. There's also a C-clamp right there, and then there's a bolt right there, and then on the other side right there. I think those are like 10 mil bolts or so. And then that should come out. There's obviously a few connections. Turn the gas off, and it's a little electric start that helps it prime it, and I don't know, get the right fuel mixture in there. So we'll get that hooked up as well. Okay, so we're on the left-hand side. That would be like the driver's side, I guess. And we've got to turn the gas off. So there's a little petcock right there. Make sure you turn that gas off right there. And then we got to start disconnecting some hoses. And I want to actually drain some of this old bad gas out of here as well. Okay, so you're gonna need to take off this little electrical piece right here, and that actually, I don't know, I'm not gonna get bogged down into it, but that helps the carburetor kind of adjust on the initial start. So it kind of like adjusts the richness or the leanness of the gasoline, which, I mean, man, for a carburetor that comes on a Chinese ATV off of Amazon, I'm kind of actually surprised they have that, because a lot of them don't. So unfortunately, what you got to do is you got to kind of just trace that wire back, and there's some zip ties that I already have undone. You trace it all the way back, and you figure out from the little mess back here which one it is. And I like to just kind of like pull it so you can kind of, you know, okay, so that's the one I need, you know, with the tension. I'm sure you guys already all know that. But so they got this wrapped around again, and then there it is, buried in there. So you simply undo it, and it should pull right out. So that's what you need to do. So they have that kind of like buried around in there like a snake, and then that's your connection that you want. So, and then if you did it right, hopefully that will pull out with no problem. Get yourself a few more, and this has 2 pins, so, and I double checked, and that's the same style that my replacement carburetor has. But just get yourself some zip ties, pack it back in there real nice, and you should be good to go. So now we got the carburetor completely out, and let's go check it and see whether or not this is the same kind that we bought. Okay, so we got the replacement, or the original carburetor on the left here. It comes with this little manifold piece that you gotta take off the ATV and reuse it onto the replacement. And it looks to be, I mean, pretty darn similar. I think the only difference is this has like an extra vacuum hose T on there. I'm not really sure where that goes, but we'll try to figure it out. Hey, real quick, hey, if you enjoy this kind of video, this kind of content, or if this video helped you out in any way, please consider hitting that subscribe button and also the like button, especially that subscribe button. Trying to reach up to 1,000 subs to reach our goal for the channel, and hopefully you guys will be able to help us out with that. Thanks a lot. Okay, so this carb, you just take that front manifold off. It just has like a little worm clamp on the front, and that's relatively easy to do, and then we'll just swap it over to the new one. Okay, that was pretty easy to do. Like I said, you just undo that little clamp on the front, and it has kind of like a little male protrusion, and you just obviously put it in there, and then it actually has like a little groove right in there, so you can't mess it up. And it's literally just unscrewing that little worm clamp right there. So let's try to get this straight here. So this hose from the side of the carburetor went around, and it was attached to the front of that manifold. So let's kind of see over here. So I do have the similar hose. See, this one has 2. No, it doesn't. Okay, so that's actually just was put there for shipping. So okay, so that hose on the original went to the front of the manifold, and I see a similar one right there for that hose, which is a double hose though. I don't know why that would go to the manifold or not. See how this one went around and went to the manifold tap right there. And then trying to figure out this hose pattern here. So do they have two separate hoses? Why is there a T on there and there's not on the other? So I got to figure this out. Okay, I really don't. I looked all over this new carb and also the old carb. I don't know why this little vacuum line right here on the old carb only has a single line, and then the new carb came with like a little T branch here. So what I did is I just removed the T branch. Maybe that is for maybe a different style ATV, and they just included this in there, but I don't see any purpose for it. I don't see any other vacuum lines or anything. So what I did is I just mimicked the same setup as the old carb on the new carb, and I just ran it through. I did have to take off this little bracket right here and just reverse it so it would fit properly, and then just connect it down into the manifold right over here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off this little bracket right here. I just did that for ease on this left-hand carb. That's where that choke adjustment area comes in for the gasoline, for the throttle, and you just hook up the line in there. So I'm just going to take this off on the new carb and reinstall the old one. It's perfectly fine. Okay, so I just took that little throttle linkage bracket off, and to mimic the old carb to the new carb. The new carb does already have a supply line attached to it for the gas that has an additional gas filter. I may or may not just keep that on there and connect it. We'll see what it looks like when it gets in there. But I double checked that the cord for the electrical is exactly the same, which they are, except for the color. The attachments are good. So I think that we're about ready to put the new carb back in. right, so I think that carburetor is going to work just fine. I obviously got to adjust the idle on it. Probably just adjust a little bit of bolts on the tensioner wire that goes in there, but it should be just a very simple thing to do. So this project probably was about an hour or so, maybe a little bit longer than that. And I did try to clean out that carb with some carb cleaner and stuff ahead of time. It wasn't working. For the price of these replacement carburetors on these things, 20, 22, sometimes you can even get them for less than that. It's almost just worth it on your time alone. Don't even worry about trying to clean them. Give it a couple little things, run some cleaner through there or whatever. If that doesn't work, just get a new carburetor and put it on. So I have heard, I don't know, I haven't tested this yet, but I have heard from some of the other people that have these type of ATVs that replacement carbs give it some better performance and stuff. So maybe I'll give a little update or what have you in the future. But so far so good. It starts up on the first try. I didn't use any starting fluid. Again, I'm not sponsored by any of these products at all. If you like this kind of content or if this helped you out in any way, please consider hitting like and subscribe. Appreciate it. See you guys next video. Not ready. All right, go ahead, anytime. Where's he going? There he goes again. Turn on a brake light, Tommy. There you go. Just wanted to see the light.
It keeps moving even when I stop the throttle.
Yeah.
Does it do like that? I don't remember that.
It's fine. Don't forget where the brakes are.
I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead, you'll be fine. Don't forget where the brakes are.